Did you know that healthy diet and your well-being are not just related? They are criteria for disease prevention and longevity. You are what you eat is not just a cliche. In fact, what you eat in private is what we say in public. Today on the program, we are taking a look at nutrition therapy, how to embrace food as a prescription to some health conditions. Good evening, welcome to Sound Health on Lagos Television. I am Olasumbo Modupe. The program begins in a moment. Please stay tuned.
What if we could design an economy that would prioritize the health of all people and the planet we live on? Where a successful economy is measured based on every person's contributions to society, and health is seen not as an additional cost or potential budget cut, but as a necessary investment for our future. A world in which health innovations are shared for the common good so that everyone can access the healthcare they need wherever they live in the world. And where governments have the capacity and resources to drive these changes. This is the vision of the WHO Council on the Economics of Health for All. The Council makes 13 bold recommendations informed by evidence and case studies from around the world. These recommendations should serve as a compass to guide us all towards a world in which people, planet, and the economy are aligned. Because the question is not why should we, but what's holding us back.
The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. Joining us via Zoom this evening is Mariam Solate Eshinlokun, a medical laboratory scientist and certified nutrition and fertility coach. And she is going to tell us what exactly is nutrition therapy, how we intend to balance our diet, a good dietary pattern, as well as using nutrition as food prescription. Good evening, Mariam Solate Eshinlokun, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
All right. Yes. The World Health Organization says diet is key. Nutrition is everything. What you eat is what we say in public. Tell us, how does this relate with our daily well-being, health conditions springing up every day?
Okay, thank you. So just like in computer, we have this Gigo in computer, garbage in, garbage out. So it is whatever you give to your body in terms of food, in terms of nutrients in food that your body uses as fuel. So it means that you are, by eating food that contain nutrients or not, in the other way around, you are sending messages to your cells. And normally our body cells are made to actually utilize nutrients from food for daily activities, for well-being, for growth, and for every other thing, for every other body function. So it is important that whatever you are giving to your body in form of food, it contains nutrients, the exact nutrients that the body needs. So I can relate this with, if you are, for example, let's look at two scenarios. Somebody that is eating a meal, for example, that contains a balanced diet, that is the normal classes of food that we all know, that is even being taught in primary school. The person is eating a meal that contains carbohydrate, it has some amount of protein, some amount of vegetables. Those nutrients are going into your cells to give you, carbohydrate is going to give you glucose for for your activity. Protein is going to give you, is going to be converted into amino acids, which is the form that the cells recognize, and that's going to help in healthy growth of cells, healthy being, and even in fertility. It helps in healthy reproductive cells. However, for somebody who is now eating junk food in quotes. Junk food, and the issue with junk food is that most of the nutrients has been denatured. You don't have, there are zero. In fact, if you are eating a junk food that is supposed to give you carbohydrates, unfortunately, if it is hardly will you see up to even 30% of real food in those junk food or store bought. So we advise that we eat food as much. We eat food as natural as possible, especially foods that you get from the farm right into your plate, so that you can maximize all the nutrients that the food contains.
All right. From your explanation, it shows diet is everything. Diet is what you see, what you eat in private is what you say in public. In fact, what you garbage in is what you earn at the end of the day. So let us look at Nutritherapy. The word Nutritherapy, it means food prescription to health challenges. How do you incorporate this into a daily dietary plan?
Okay, so talking about Nutritherapy, it means that and that is just the basis of nutrition for health. So even if we all know that there's this quote, food is medicine. So it's not really medicine like the medications. However, it is those nutrients so it still depends on if you're actually eating the right things. It is the principle of Nutritherapy is the nutrients that are coming from the food. We are using it as a healing for whatever health issues we are using it for. So the principle of nutritherapeutics actually is using the nutrients that is contained in the food. So it still boils down to eating the right food that gives you the exact nutrients that you need. For example, let's take fertility, for example. Somebody who is trying for a baby, for example, needs to take foods that are rich in protein and healthy fats. Now, when I say protein, even the egg cells or the sperm cells in a male that is going to fuse for fertilization is actually being produced by nutrients from protein. So if you are not eating enough of those nutrients, if your body is not getting enough signals of protein, that is an issue. Also, healthy fats. We have healthy fats like monounsaturated fatty acids. You get these fats, they help in hormone balance. They also help your body, going on in your body, and even your cells are producing interleukins. Your body is producing interleukins or fighter T cells against your body cells. So how do you stop this? Eat the right food, prevent. You don't have to wait until food in ways that will benefit for you not to even come down with the disease in the first place. So it still boils down, like I said, to the 6 classes of food. So when you're eating, we all know the carbohydrate, the protein, vitamins and minerals, fat and oil, and water. So if you're eating carbohydrates, we advise that you eat the good carbs in food. So when I say there is no good or bad food anyway, if whatever you are eating, it is either giving you what, it depends on what you are going to get from that food. So when we say good carb, the only thing that makes a carbohydrate good is that it contains fiber. So that fiber in the carbohydrate, now when you eat a carbohydrate meal, the end of a carbohydrate meal is sugar. So when people are telling you stay away from sugar, and you're like, I don't eat sugar all the time. I don't even like to put sugar in my tea. Meanwhile, you're eating rice in the morning, bread in the afternoon, and pounded yam at night. Okay. So the end product of carbohydrate is actually sugar. So when we say a good carb, it means that you are eating your carbohydrate that is filled with fiber, and you get this from unprocessed carbohydrates, including potatoes, even your beans is carbohydrate. Yes, I know that beans is actually classified as plant protein, but it is more of carbohydrate than protein. And when we are talking about the nutritional value, and of course, you agree with me that anytime you eat beans, you feel full enough, and that is because of the fiber that is contained. When you eat a carbohydrate meal, digestion of carbohydrates actually starts from when it mixes with your saliva. So digestion starts immediately. So when you are eating processed carbohydrates or processed food, it sends sugar signals. It is rapidly converted into sugar and send that signal into your body. The body sends a signal to your brain that there's too much sugar. So your brain does what? It sends a message back to your pancreas. Your pancreas produces insulin and mop up all the excess sugar. And that is why when you eat a processed food or simple carbohydrates, in the next 2-3 hours, you're feeling hungry. You want to eat something else. But when you eat carbohydrate that has fiber, the fiber binds to the sugar and it releases it steadily into your system. So by that, you feel satiated and you have energy for a longer period. Also, proteins. Proteins are the building blocks of the body. In fact, every part of your body contains protein in form of amino acid, including your head. I've had a client who, when we call something protein, leveraging on protein. Okay, so when she started leveraging on protein, she used to have hair loss and every other thing relating to hair. So when she leveraged the protein leverage her protein, so when she started leveraging on enough protein, her hair, in fact, now she has full hair, beautiful black. And so it's not when we see a symptom in your body, it could be skin issue, it could even be acne, it could be your hair, it could be any part of your body. What are you eating? That is what for the first thing a nutritionist will ask you. And then we'll do an evaluation of your meal and see that. So protein, if we have various forms of protein, animal protein, from fish, meat, chicken, eggs, animal protein. We also have plant proteins too. Like I said, beans is a plant protein. It could also be soy, even nuts will give you healthy fat and also protein. So talking about healthy fats, now most people think that fat is the bad guy. In fact, some people will even tell you that I don't cook my vegetable with oil because fat, I don't want to eat fat. But we should realize that healthy fat has some benefits in the body, and that is the benefit we need to leverage on. First is that it helps in blood clotting. Some people, if they have a cut, your body's natural response to that is to form a clot so that bleeding will stop. But we find out that some people bleed for longer hour or period. So this is as a result of when you are eating healthy fat, it helps. Healthy fat also helps in hormone production. So people would say, cholesterol, I don't want to eat, cholesterol is bad, but cholesterol is actually not bad. Your hormones are even being produced from that cholesterol. The only question we ask is it the bad cholesterol or the good cholesterol? We call it the bad in quotes, low density lipoproteins, and the good in quotes, high density lipoproteins. So when you even do a lipid profile, we want that your high density lipoprotein is higher than your low density lipoprotein, and then resultantly the total cholesterol. So what are these healthy fats? We get it from olive oil, avocado oil are the best form of oil. Then we come down to coconut oil, even our palm oil. And I was going to mention something. Some people say, I don't oilless this, oilless that. What if I tell you that there are some vitamins we call fat-soluble vitamins, like vitamins A, D, E, and K, for example. So when you are eating vegetable, and there is a reason, there is a good thing behind cooking your vegetable with oil, even if it is, of course, it's not going to be 1 drum of oil, it's just going to be minimal amount of oil. And even when you are doing a stir fry to 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of oil, you are fine. This is because these vitamins, the fat-soluble vitamins, like I said, if they don't see a fat in your vegetable, they might not. Your body cells might not be able to uptake them. But once they are mixed with fat, the fat-soluble vitamins will dissolve, and then you can uptake it. So you can see that. Although there are some people might need that at that moment, but instead of waiting till that, what if we do preventive nutrition? What if we take everything in the right amount and the right quality and the right amount.
All right.
So also talking about vitamins and minerals, we know that they are, okay.
All right. Okay, so from your explanation now, I could deduce that it is not just about eating for your well-being. It is also about moderation. But in this part of the world, you hear many people say, I ate, but I was not feeling what I ate. What advice do you have for this category of people and those that are also after being full, eating, enough?
Okay, so listen to your body full signal. You see, when there's a hormone we call leptin. Leptin is the hunger regulating hormone in the body. So when your leptin, most people who eat a lot or who eat now and in the next 5 minutes, I still want to eat again, I don't feel full. Or after one plate, give me another plate, give me another plate. This is what we term as leptin resistance. Ordinarily, most times, people eat more than their body cells need or their body needs just because of this leptin resistance. Like your body is no longer receptive to the leptin hormone. So if you are experiencing this, that you, in fact, even if it is 10 plates you are going on, what you need to do is to bring the leptin hormone back. Let your body be sensitive to leptin. And how do you do this? Number one, listen to your full signal. Like, mindful eating is also part of it. Mindful eating. So sometimes some people, in fact, you hear some people say, and I'm okay, but let me just eat more. There's still space. So even we know, when your body, you've had enough. And that is why we said, don't just eat simple carbs. So when you eat simple carbs, you still feel like eating more because of the rapid digestion, like I said. So when you are eating, eat enough of fiber. Make sure, be intentional about putting fiber in your plate. So when I say fiber, I mean vegetables. It could be vegetables. So you are eating, even if you are eating rice, you are eating vegetables. Then potatoes is also a very good, contains enough fiber. Beans is also one of the fiber containing carbohydrates.
Okay.
So when you add fiber to your meal, start eating the fiber first. When you're eating, start with the fiber. So at that point, your body is already the fiber does something when you're eating it with a simple carb. It forms a mesh on your stomach, so that your body does not release the carb that you're eating after, does not release too much sugar, and then your pancreas, your insulin won't mop it off. I don't know if this is clear.
Yes.
However, mindful eating, listening to your full signal. Most times we know, listen to your full signal. And at this point, you find out that when you listen to your full signal, you find out that you naturally eat less. Well, I would have said portion control, but what portion is enough? People will say, I'm doing portion control, but you still find out that you are still overeating. So be mindful, eat mindfully, listen to your full signal, eat enough fiber and protein. If it's okay, start your food with eating the fiber and protein. And for example, when you're eating a swallow meal, eat a very big amount of soup or vegetables, and then you don't the carbs, do it in moderation. Like I do tell people, the soup is actually the food. Because it is the soup that contains the vegetables that give you vitamins. It contains the oil that, of course, regulates your hormones and give you warmth. It is also the soup that will contain the protein that you need, either fish, meat. So eat more of that, and then eat it with your swallow too. But have it in mind that the soup is the food.
Because we have limited time, in 1 minute, let us quickly look at some food that can, serve as healing purpose to some health challenges. In 1 minute, food prescription to some health challenges now.
Okay, so like I said, most time, food generally, the only difference between what you should eat and what you should not eat is according to the health challenge that you're facing. For example, let me talk about fertility, metabolic issues. Let's look at PCOS and diabetes in one together. Now, PCOS we often refer to as polycystic ovarian syndrome, diabetes of the ovary, and diabetes. So it looks alike. Now, the most important thing is to eat foods that have low glycemic index that will not spike your sugar. Now, like I said, food is food. For example, if you have this issue and you want to eat food that are low in glycemic index, you can substitute. You can substitute potatoes for yam. You can substitute eating potatoes for yam, like I said. You can substitute eating brown rice for white rice. So food is food. The only restriction, and I should also mention that when you are using any food as a treatment option, there would be restrictions. For somebody who is having high blood pressure, for example, would I be advised not to take food that are rich high in sodium and take food that are high in potassium. So food is food. The only difference when you are using it for a treatment option is that there would be restrictions, and it is in that restriction, and that restriction is just so that it doesn't aggravate your symptom, or it only ameliorates it.
Going forward, what would you like to see embraced by people?
So I'd say prevention is better than cure. We have seen a lot of metabolic issues that food has been able to ameliorate. The right food has been able to ameliorate. But we are saying that why not start eating those healthy foods now? Why wait till you have those metabolic syndrome symptoms? We should also realize that by eating, you are giving your body cells a message, and it is the message that you are passing down to your body cells that it will bring out to you. What you eat in private, in your homes, in the corners of your home, you wear in public.
All right, food is food. However, moderation is key. You are what you eat, and what you eat in private is what we say in public. Mariam Solate Eshinlokun, medical laboratory scientist, certified nutrition and fertility coach. Thank you so much for your time and expertise on Nutritherapeutics.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, Sound Health continues with trending health report from around the world. Please stay tuned. This is where we say thank you on today's episode of Sound Health. I hope you've learned one or two things about good dietary plan, how to embrace nutrition for your well-being. She said prevention is better than cure. I am sure you'll take a cue from that. Mindful eating is the way to go. For comments and inquiries, or you have topics you'd like us to treat, please send SMS to 0035826603 or follow us on social media at Lagos Television #SoundHealth. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.